inZOI has been in early access since March of 2025, and June brought us our first official roadmap stop. This update showed players not only all of the new content in the game, but it let us know what the dev team is currently focusing on before our next one in August. First though, I want to say happy time zone. My name is Ivory and welcome to my gameplay diary. inZOI, through Steam, you can also support me as a content creator, but only if you like. And you can use my code, MyGameplayDiary, when you pick up a copy of inZOI. You can use this code by going to the Game Options menu and then navigating down to Gameplay and putting in My Gameplay Diary when you enter the game. Thank you so much for supporting me. As a special thank you, Krafton is making sure that everyone who enters my creator code will get an exclusive Best Creator Ever t-shirt that your ZOIs can wear in the game. And while they wear the shirt, they could experience the feeling of confidence from time to time. I do get a small percentage when you use this code, and every penny goes back into my setup, so I appreciate anybody using it in advance. I'm so sorry that you guys missed me being sworn in at the AR headquarters, but yes, I am the president. So I really wanted to give myself time to marinate with the changes that happened with inZOI and fully immerse myself with them before I started singing the praises of any major update. I don't know if I would call it major, but I think that we did get a lot of new features. So full disclosure here, I always want to be fully transparent and honest with you guys. Partner or not partner, playing the game, not playing the game. I want to give you guys real feedback because people are really spending their time and money investing into this game and everybody wants to see it do great. And I am a firm believer in that it's okay to give constructive feedback if you like something. So if that bothers you and if you have a problem with people talking about your fave, this is probably not the news update for you. So I will say that the June update was very promising because it showed me as just not someone who is a partner with the game, but it showed me as a player and someone who was super excited to play inZOI and try out inZOI before I even had the opportunity. It showed me that they really prioritize listening to their community. There were some features that I feel like, okay, we could have got this sooner. However, I do appreciate that they were implemented and that the community was listened to and changes were made. So now ZOIs can romance everyone. Now ZOIs can have a little high school romance, and they can also adopt and have science babies, and you don't need to be married to have children. I had a comment that said I talk about what's realistic, but things are different in other parts of the world. I feel like we have to remember that the goal of the team was to create a game that would be beloved in different parts of the world. So the fact that they're listening to their community all over the world and getting feedback and trying to create a game where a large group of people can feel comfortable and seen and feel like they're playing a life simulation game that represents them. You know, we have the simulation updates. We also have the updates to Create a ZOI. One of my biggest things with Create a ZOI is that you're either dressing like you're going to your retirement party at work or like you're going to your sophomore year of high school. There's really no in between. And I feel like a lot of the outfits and clothing pieces just really have a very uniform aesthetic and a certain look that I don't know, like there's just something I don't know, like there's something missing and there's not enough variety. Even some of the items that are like an approach to streetwear just fall flat. I will say though that the new clothing that they added looks very good, very nice, very amazing, and I love some of the hairs. I do feel though that there could be another attempt at implementing different hairstyles. I do appreciate their attempts to add variety to hair in the game, and I still feel like their attempts at doing hair that has a bit more texture, a little bit more kink to their curl is just not it. I feel like they might need to outsource, and I know that they have said before that creating these kind of hairs does come off a little bit complex and it's a bit more high poly. I would say that it's probably best to outsource it because I know artists, I follow artists that create hairs like this. There are Black artists that do braids and afros and low cut Caesars with the deep waves, and they do it in a way that's not complex. They're not complex meshes. So I feel like it's just going to be helpful for them to say, you know what, get somebody else to do it and find that person and get them to create these items so that people feel represented in their game. But I want to also stress that, you know, there are other people from different cultures or other people with different type of hair. Maybe your hair is longer. Maybe you want to see some indigenous braids in the game. So I feel like there is more room to improve the hair. I would also like to see some hairlines because the hairline, like the hairline, the demarcation between the hair and the skin, some of those lines look a little bit sharp. So I would love to see hairs with like baby hairs and edges and things like that. And I feel like maybe that's why some of the uh, kinky curly hairs just don't sit with me because they just don't look realistic. The build mode items, I really don't have any feedback on. I feel like they did an amazing job with the build mode items. Now you can actually look like you have a family home. There were some extra furniture pieces for children and like rooms that would look good for teens. And you can actually have your Zoe have a kid and they can decorate their nursery, decorate their first big kid bedroom, their teen bedroom, and you can actually have that type of family gameplay. So I think they did a good job with that. And I like how they focused on some kitchen items as well. Kitchen is the heart of the family in many different places of the world. So having your kitchen be nicely decorated and having beautiful matching cabinets and adding those islands and the island countertops, it just really made for a nice update. I will say that my one concern about the June update that has me a little bit apprehensive about the August one is that there does seem to be more of a focus on aesthetics versus core gameplay. Now, I can play inZOI for about an hour or two and be like, man, that was fun. But I have been known to I have been known to crash out and just lock in on life simulation games and be playing that for like 5 hours straight. So I need for them to, in Zoe, they call gameplay simulation. So I need for them to make the simulation a bit more robust. And these are things that they did acknowledge. They did acknowledge that there are a lot of awkward interactions, and sometimes the interactions with the Zoes building relationships with other people does feel awkward. And it's like, you know, if I have a Zoe that is trying to maybe make friends with someone or flirt with somebody, do you know how awkward it feels as the player where you're trying to flirt with a Zoe that you've been talking to and you have to like walk after them because the Zoes disengage with each other so fast? It just is like, okay, maybe I don't need to have my Zoe date. Maybe they don't need to romance. Or if you're having your Zoe at work and they need to make some work friends, get to know a coworker or two, and they're like chasing their coworker down the hallway to talk to them because they disengage so fast. It's very awkward. I feel like in Zoe, as the game is right now, it is set up to tell a story of a solitary lifestyle versus a life around a person and their loved ones. It's more like, how do I explain it? It's kind of late in Arizona right now as I'm recording this after work, so bear with me. But I don't have a script either. So yeah, we here, we locked in. I feel like playing inZOI, and bear with me, y'all, because it's late in Arizona. I'm trying to record this after work. Um, you know, it's kind of hard balancing that 9 to 5 and content creation, but I'm really trying, y'all. But I feel like inZOI feels like I'm reading a Zoe's resume. Like, hi, I'm Whitney and I have a job and I live in Doan. And every day I get up at 9 and go to work. And then I listen to music and I have 4 friends. versus watching a story play out. Like I feel like the game does so much telling and not enough showing. Like, show me how the Zoe can build this relationship. Let me see how it can play out when she finds out that her boyfriend or girlfriend is cheating on her. Show me what it's like to have a coworker that is your nemesis. I just feel like inZOI feels like I'm reading a cover letter of a character in a life simulation game. And I mean, it makes sense in a way because they have this whole like, this is the AR company, this is corporate, you're a Zoe. But I feel like it's kind of spilling over into how the game is being played, and that really doesn't translate well into gameplay. So I feel like it feels too polished, and I think the game needs a bit more sentimental moments. They recently did a survey, and on the survey, they were asking people, you know, their pros, their cons about inZOI, and what their most requested features were. And most of the community that participated in this survey, they really want to improve the gameplay, or as the devs call it, they want to improve the simulation of the game. People really appreciate that this game looks great and it has beautiful graphics, but the visuals aren't going to captivate players. What's going to captivate players is the gameplay. And I love that they are being very transparent about this feedback. And I really admire that they are taking ownership and communicating and just being very transparent. You know, hey, y'all don't like the gameplay, we're going to try to fix it. And I think that the June update showed me that they do listen and they do want to improve the game. But I feel like I'm not sure if we're going to get it in that August update, but they are working on rethinking the life simulation and how it works. And I feel like maybe down the line in a couple months and a couple updates, I think the way that your Zoe interacts with the Zoes around them and their environment might be completely different. And I can't confirm or deny as president of inZOI, but I feel like they might just do an overhaul of how the simulation works, either before early access is over or after. So I don't know. I kind of get that feeling because the majority of feedback was about how people aren't happy with the simulation. And we talked about before how there has been a large player drop from when the game launched till now. So I feel like if they do focus on the core of the issue, the gameplay, that things are going to change. There was other information that I have recently got privy to. It kind of did not shock me. So we learned that the average age of players is 31. 31. People born in the late 1900s, just about, are playing inZOI. And also, there is a near split of the demographic of male to female, with about 45% male, 55% female. I feel like that's not shocking either because creating videos around inZOI even changed my demographics. I don't really even understand that like that, but I remember when I would look at it or YouTube would say, check this out, blah, blah, blah. I learned that I used to have like 90% of my viewership as a woman. And since inZOI, that has changed drastically. But it really inspires me to push an issue that people had with the game prior to early access. And that was the need to, I guess, water down a lot of the content in inZOI. And I've said this before. I've been saying this about other life simulation games. People that are the age of teen do not care about life simulation games. I would say my sophomore year of college is when I really started to play more. But the year that I was graduating was when I was just really locked in solitude, studying, playing my life sim game, and just trying to enjoy indoors so I could graduate and not be out there in them streets. So I think that the average age is very telling. Could we get content? And I really hate to bring up the S word, but could we bring up content that is a bit more spicy? Like, Could we get a hot date night? Could we get a jacuzzi? Could we get some more romance options? Could we get more areas to set the mood? Can we change the word set the mood to zoink, right? Because they really wanted it to be like super teen friendly and younger people could play it. Younger people do not care about life simulation games. You know what they're playing? Roblox. Roblox, 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 Roblox. And you're especially not going to find people in that youth age group that are playing any games that don't involve their friends. Right now, inZOI is a single player game. People that are younger love multiplayer games. But you know, once your frontal lobe fully develops, you kind of just want to enjoy your games in peace sometimes. So the multiplayer games really may not be the thing for the older crowd because we just want to play in peace. But the younger folks, if they can come up with something multiplayer, make that for the babies. But for us grown folks that are playing this game with this average big age of 31, can you at least consider, like reconsider how I'm not implying because I know a lot of you freaks are out there. I've seen Nexus and I already figured this. So I'm not implying that we give the freaks fan service. I feel like uh, there's going to be somebody out there that makes a freaky mod and you guys will love that. And I love that for you. But what I'm saying is, can we just get some content that isn't so not childish, but not so family friendly. You know what I mean? Let's add a little bit more drama. Let's make the game a little bit more messy. This is what people in that age group want. So we love the cozy moments, but we also love the drama. So I also see that there is a split between male and female. I feel like most people assume that life sim games are played by the girls. And while that is true, inZOI also presented itself. I'm not sure if it was intentional. Maybe content creators presented it that way. Anyways, child, it was presented as kind of like The Sims 4 meets GTA. And there's just something, very much something about the words G and T and A. When you say that to the mandem, it sets off something in their brain and they are hooked. So I think that this also inspired the jail update. So I feel like we might see some future updates to the game. And this is just me and my presidential delusions. You know, as president, I must say these things as they come to me because that's what a president does. Yeah. So I feel like we might see further updates, kind of like the jail one that we had that were that will allow your Zoid to be a bad boy. You can do crime, maybe organized crime. Like, I will not be shocked if they come out with an active crime career. I'm calling it. We're probably going to get more crime. We're probably going to get an active auto mechanic career. We're probably going to see, like, maybe your Zoid could be like a racer. Like, they're definitely, if they don't really hone in on that 45%, they're going to lose it. So I feel like Krafton is a billion-dollar company for a reason. So I know they're going to find a way to make them men happy, child. So yeah, ladies, be prepared. We are going to probably see a lot of updates for the boys. The boys. And another thing that was shocking to me, I say this as I fold my arms and my bonnet falls to the side, is that the game really didn't perform as well as they thought it would in Korea and China, but it's doing great in the West. So if anybody's out there, I don't know where everyone out there is at. So if you're watching this from China or South Korea, I am curious to know what games are popular. I'm definitely going to Google it after I'm done, and maybe I'll ask ChatGPT. But like, what are you guys playing out there? I'm curious to know. But what I don't want for things to happen with inZOI, I don't want them to start to, I be mindful what I say. Let me take a sip of water. There's a lot of people, you mentioned this and they get super sensitive. So what I don't want to see is that, oh wow, we have a huge market in the West. And then we get European world after European world after European world after European world after European world, America, European world, European world, European world, America. Um, there's a life simulation game out there that has that rollout. And you know, if you're a person from a black country, uh, Latino country, uh, Asian country, you know, you just, especially the black, we don't even have a world in that game. Like they literally said, "F y'all." But you know, if you are from a non-predominantly W word, we just gotta wait for the worlds. However, this is a game that is made in South Korea, so I highly doubt that. I mean, I could be wrong, but I highly doubt that they would take that rollout. But I don't want them to lose the vision of trying to take people to journeys through different cultures and experience different cultures through inZOI. That's one thing that I really admired in one of Cajun's interviews. I want to see multiple worlds from different continents: North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia. Like I want to see it all. Even Antarctica. Like what the penguins doing? What the penguins got going on out there? This survey that they did was very accurate and very helpful, especially considering that most people that they polled from played at least 50 hours of inZOI, and then half of them were playing other live sim games. So I think that it definitely gave them a lot of insight about who they are creating this game for. I have some concerns, questions, comments, and concerns actually about the coming updates, but what I'm going to do first is just give the information before I start yapping. So there is the third world, and I feel like at this point most of us have heard about it. However, she has a rebrand, so she is now called Cahaya, because I really struggled saying the last name, and I couldn't even edit out the stuttering. Y'all know I got a speech impediment, so it was really hard for me to say it, but Cahaya rolls off my tongue. I'm really just, I can't wait to see it because I know the world is going to be beautiful. They'll be splitting it into two different islands. So there will be a main island where I'm going to scream. I can't scream, it's so late. There's going to be a main island where you will be living off of it and surviving off the land, y'all. Farming and inZOI. If you know me, you know how much I love farming games, and I love to farm, and I love to have my characters pick beans, greens, tomatoes, turkeys, chicken, ham, turkey, pork. Like I'm so excited for the farming aspect of inZOI. So I think what I want to do is wrap up my 100 baby challenge and divorce Billy and get ready to go to Cahaya. But that's beside the point. So the other portion of Cahaya is going to have a island where there's going to be a resort and a beach club. So you can either live off of the land and have that self-sufficient lifestyle, or you can go there and be a tourist and vacation. Your Zoids will be able to have a lot of different opportunities for leisure, like swimming, getting in the pool, going snorkeling, getting a massage. But if you don't want that, if you want to go to Cahaya to live a sustainable lifestyle, you can do farming, fishing, gathering, collecting, making and selling goods, doing deliveries. So I think that from how this is being presented, that we're going to see a lot of changes to the simulation. However, I will say that Cahaya is being presented as a world where there's no school, nobody works, I think maybe on the main island, like people are still gonna need an education. So like, are we gonna live there and have children and they're not gonna go to school? Can we homeschool them? Could homeschool be something that happens with Cahaya? I don't know. I feel like my reservations with this island is that it seems very laid back. While I have a soft spot for farming, I do recognize that the world and the features that they're presenting might be a bit too laid back for the updates that are needed to improve the game simulation. I feel like there just needs to be some major changes to the way Zoids interact with each other and the environment before we see this new world. So I'm hoping that July we get some mini updates, not even many, make it big, do big things, do really big things in July. Because before we get this world in August, we really need to have an overhaul of that, because you're going to have your Zoe go on vacation and it's going to literally feel like they're on this little island by themselves. I'm super excited for Cahaya. I just do hope that they really focus on the simulation and gameplay so that it feels robust and there are things to do and you're going on vacation together and doing things together when you get to this island. So that is pretty much some of the major sneak peek that we have so far. Still not too much news on pets. I think that they really need to just continue working on pets. It seems like they really are trying to focus on how the pets navigate the space around them. For example, if you have a cat, your cat can jump on the kitchen counter, your cat can jump on the fridge and the sofa. Your cat could just come up to you while you're working at your desk and slap the hell out of you and then just go away. You know, that's why I have dogs. But even dogs, you know, as I sit here trying to do this video, I have Aria doing parkour because we were cuddling and now we're not cuddling anymore and she's going through it. I have Nappa sitting at my feet just being Nappa. Like he literally no thought behind those cute little eyes. Nappa just is Nappa. August is right around the corner. I mean, we have 4 weeks of July, these last few weeks of June, and August will be here. So I felt like we have a great roadmap and we're already starting to get a great foundation of a relationship between the dev team and the community. They have shown us that they are listening to us and they really want to implement what we want as a community. I'm just hoping that they reconsider their priorities for these updates. So I really hope that they push things further up that are related to the simulation and anything that's aesthetic wise, like new worlds, new furniture, all these things. I think that can definitely wait because right now the sore point for the community is the gameplay. So that's all I have to say about it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and I definitely will see you in the next inZOI video. If you want to catch me before then, I do stream inZOI on my Gameplay Diary Live. Also, if you want to support me by becoming a channel member, you get early access to videos and you also get members only giveaways on this channel. We also have the community tab where if you want to tell a story with your Zois and do a little bit of role play with your Zois and just share your character's storyline, visit my community tab. You can do so there. Other than that, I do want to say thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stay hydrated, be kind to yourself, and do your taxes before they send you to prison. Bye!